morning, good evening, welcome. Oh, look at that. Of course that's in the shot. Welcome to this week's live chat where we're going to talk about YouTube and live streaming and all the things that encompasses. So, you know, those of us that have done YouTube for a little bit understand that it's not just as simple as make a video and upload it. There's more to it than that. But as Doug has gone the hard Yeti, we do have the Yeti in a water bottle today with water, straight up water. But I've actually gone old school coffee cup. I don't know why. I just didn't grab a Yeti mug this morning when I made my coffee, and I just went with a coffee cup. Weird, right? Doug's just getting in, using all the commands. Now, I had noticed over the last couple of weeks that the buy me a coffee command wasn't working. Speaking of which, I need to add that in. And that's right, bring on the Winchesters. But the buy me a coffee command wasn't working, and a couple of the others weren't working. Sorted it out, I think. I don't know. I think I've sorted it out. I got it to work. And yeah, so I've just been working on getting some of the processes, some of the things that I've added to my streams that can create extra breakpoints. Go me. And I've added, and so now I've had to go in and jiggle that. So one of the things, like I just said, one of the extra breakpoints is while I've got this, I've got lights. I've got, you know, a fancy camera, I've got fancy audio, I've got music playing in the background, if you can hear it. And it's just one of these things where I've added over the years, I've added more and more and more to my streams. This does not mean that that's how your streams need to look. And I just want to say that again. That does not mean that that's how your streams need to look. Right? You don't need all the lights, all the cameras, all the bells and whistles. You don't need that. You don't need all the cute graphics jumping up. You don't need the emoji wall. You don't need any of this stuff. You don't need it. Is it fun? Sure. Is it create like a little bit more excitement for the community? Yes, it does. They seem to like it. But these are things that I slowly added on over the years. All right, like these are things that I slowly added on. This is not how my streams started. My very first stream was on Twitch. I was streaming a game. I believe it was Stardew Valley when it very first came out. It could have been something else, but I think it was Stardew Valley. And it was literally the game. I had a microphone input. I didn't even have a camera input at this time because I was trying to work out what my internet back in the day could deal with and what my computer could deal with and all these sorts of things. And so I tested it off the platform that I wanted to do, off the, Doug, are you sending spiders at me? I thought we were friends. You know, so I wanted to test off platform, doing something else under a different username. So it was a total incognito thing, right? And then I realized even just doing that one little thing, I did it for over a few weeks. I had so much fun with it and I enjoyed it. And there was no one there. Like, well, actually there was some guy who would jump in it randomly to start with, and then it slowly built. And by the time I sort of went, okay, guys, I've done what I needed to do. All right, that's it. I'm turning it off. You guys can't be trusted by not sending bugs at me. Where's the emoji wall? I don't like bugs. You know I don't like bugs. That's it. If I can find the toggle to turn off the emoji wall, where is it? Oh, anyway. Doug started it. Don't cancel me. Wait, that's a live stream logo, isn't it? Is what a live stream logo? Oh, the spiders that you thought you sent to me. Yes, very funny. Very funny. Anyway, sorry, back. I mean, it could be a live, I thought spider. It could be a live, all right, I'm going to leave it for now, but only because I couldn't find it fast enough to turn it off. All right, so I started out off platform, doing different content under a different name, just because I was scared. I was scared, you know. I mean, Doug, maybe I just need to have my screen closer. I don't know, but they definitely look like spiders. And so it's 100% natural to be nervous about the unknown. But should we push through it? Yes. Absolutely, we should push through it. Should we fight the fear and punch it in its little tiny neck? Absolutely, we should. Because if you want to live stream, if your audience wants you to live stream, then the fear is just making you miss out and making your audience miss out. Like, as somebody who is afraid of many, many things, including spiders and bugs that move faster than my eyes can focus on, then I understand fear. I understand how debilitating it can be. I understand what it can make us do and make us not do. So when it comes to the fear of this, and obviously we have to be cautious of personal safety, but there's no real inherent danger as long as you're doing it in a safe manner. Like, I don't have imagery of my street or my car or anything like that. Like, I'm in a room that I've controlled. And sure, I probably overshare a little bit, like my family come in. I've got Louis Cam, bring him up. He's having a snooze. I just adjusted that camera. Goodness me. Let me just adjust it again. There we go. There we go, little man. Snoozing in his wheel. You know, so you have to decide what you're willing to share, what you're not willing to share. Your audience can't make you share anything you don't want to share. Okay? Like, you really have to set some guidelines and some boundaries of what you are willing and not willing to share publicly. Think of the safety of yourself, of your immediate family, of those that live in your home, things like that. Like, you may not, like, I live with my husband and daughter, like, you might live with flatmates. You need to think of all of these things. Doug, yes, the Discord link does work, but it's not real, like, unless these guys are interested in yarn, they may not like it over. That's my Fiberific Discord. I don't have a Discord for this group, although I should probably link back to yours and I can just, you know, hang out in yours. You do see the similarity? Yeah. And I was looking at it, my screen's a little bit further away. Yep. You need to add a Specsavers command. Yeah. Yeah, Leanne's with you. She's like, it's one of the thing. One of the biggest, John says, one of the biggest physical dangers of live streaming is forgetting that you're wearing wired headphones. Oh my goodness. Like, John, how many times have I tried to get up and walk away, like, while I'm working or something at my desk, only to have my head yoinked back because of the connection of the, because for everything else, I wear wireless headphones. It's only when I'm live streaming and content producing do I have wired headphones. And every single time it happens. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's have a look here. Legal Minded, friends with Karen. I made it. It's been a while. That's so good to see you. That's so good to see you. So if you're here, if you're live, please drop your YouTube live streaming questions in the chat. I'll do my best to answer them. I may not know all the answers. I may send you off somewhere else to where I know that the answer is. But you know, I can always do that as well, not just, you know, prattle along, which we know will happen. There will be prattling. There will be prattling. All right, I'm just going to quickly scrub back. And I missed a few hellos. Hello, Anfield Road Layout in the loft. Great to see you. Livestream Consultants has been here right from the get-go this morning. Doug is floating around here as well. Great to see you, Doug. Anfield says, just call in to give stream a like at 1 o'clock in the morning. In the UK, I'll watch it back on the replay. So have a great day. Thanks, Anfield. Thank you. I appreciate that. And this is one of the things, it's very easy to forget that it's a world. It's a world and we have different time zones and not everybody can line up. So when you're deciding your live streaming time, you kind of have to try and pick a time that suits you. You have to be able to do it. Plus it needs to suit at least a portion of your audience. So usually what happens is most people pick a time zone that suits the US, and then they have to choose between like Australasia and Europe. So I either have to, I'm either up in the middle of the night or I am in the middle of the day. So it's one of the two. Have you been tempted by any Black Friday deals? Yes. I have. I'm being very cautious this year with my Black Friday spending. I've recently upgraded my lights on a deal that I couldn't say no to. That was a few months ago, maybe a month and a half ago. It feels like a few months ago. And they were kind of the last real big thing I needed, like to sort out, to get it to do what I wanted it to do. I like all my lights to be controlled either by voice or via an app or my Stream Deck. I like to be able to, whereas my old lights, I literally had to lean over and turn them on and off every single time. It was very frustrating. And I couldn't even put like because I have a Wi-Fi controlled power board, and because of the kind of lights they were, you could turn them off. You could get the power turned off and on, but you would still have to actually turn them on at the back of the light. It would turn off when you asked it to, but you actually had to physically hit a button to make them turn on, and it was very annoying. So I upgraded to some really nice newer live streaming panels, which I am loving a lot. So I got those a little while ago, but in saying that, it's arriving today. I ordered it Saturday. I thought it was coming yesterday, but it didn't come. I have got an upgraded teleprompter coming. I currently have a newer X12, I think I have. But I really, really wanted the Elgato teleprompter. I got the X12 before the Elgato came out, and it's fine. It's really good. It holds a full-size iPad, no problems, all those sorts of things. The issue I have is the space that I'm working in, and this is what you have to think about with your gear all of the time. It's not just, hey, how cool is this gear, or everybody else has got this gear. What is the space that you have to work in? What is the content that you're making? Do you need this thing? Does it, or is it just a want? Like what's the impetus for making you want to buy it? So for me, the Elgato teleprompter saves two problems that I'm currently having with the newer. The newer is designed, it's a bit more hardcore, it's a bit bigger, it's better for if you're a bit further away from your teleprompter. It's a great teleprompter, there's nothing wrong with it except for these two little things. And what they are is all based on the footprint of the teleprompter. It is, think of it as, this is the middle piece, this piece hangs off the front, but this piece hangs off the back. My whole setup is on one desk, right? Like I have all my lights, I have everything set up on one desk. Everything's clamped to the desk. And I used to be able to push the desk much closer to the wall. But there are two things I've had to do since having the newer teleprompter, which is I have to have it out from the wall, which means that in this very limited space that I have, this room is only 2 meters wide, so 6 feet deep. And I'm losing half a foot off the wall just to make room for this teleprompter. But the second thing that has to happen is, because the back of the teleprompter is so long, not only do I need to have the desk away from the wall, but so I don't have to have it a whole foot away from the wall, I've had to move everything down and had to move the camera down so that actually fits where the windowsill is as well. So I get an extra, 4 or 5 inches of being able to have the back of the teleprompter not only go from the back of the desk to the wall, but into the window gap. I don't know what it's called, the inset. And so being able to have this much smaller footprint Elgato teleprompter means that I'll be able to put my camera wherever the heck I want it, and also be able to push my desk back and just give myself an extra few inches of floor space. And I don't know if I'm going to sell the Newer and move it on, or whether I'll keep it as a secondary rig. One of my ultimate goals is to be able to create a secondary recording angle. I do have a second camera, like I think it's on right now. I don't know if I've got it set up. Let's just see if I can do anything. I don't know if I can change this camera. There you go. There's a secondary camera already set up. Now, obviously it needs framing and stuff like that, but it's already right there. But being able to set that up somewhere a little bit different, probably not where it is, this was just a testing thing, but being able to set it up, being able to probably attach another teleprompter to that doesn't, because it's at the front of a desk. It's clamped on, well, to the side of a desk, of a different desk. And so it doesn't have any of the same spatial issues as my main camera does. So being able to have, I'm just gonna there we go. I was chopping my head off, I didn't like it. Being able to have this additional space around it will give me that extra thing. Or am I being ridiculous, and should I just sell it or move it on to somebody else that could utilize it? Like, really, who needs 2 teleprompters? But that's a decision I don't have to make today. I can work with the new teleprompter once it comes, and see what I think. But that is actually the only Black Friday deal that I have taken on board this year, because I'm pretty content with everything that I've got. I'm pretty content with my setup. I've worked really hard to get what I want, to get what I need, you know. And it's just one of these things where I try to be grateful for what I have without always constantly reaching. And there was a couple of things that was outside of that. It was the Rodecaster Pro 2, which I got in last year's Black Friday sale, and it was better quality lights. These were things that I absolutely wanted desperately, and I was able to get those last year. So now it is just a case of I'm pretty happy with the gear that I have, and I'm going to start having a look around at, you know, once I've got this additional teleprompter and I don't have to be so space conscious. I mean, I still have to be space conscious, let's be honest. This whole room is 2 meters by 2.5 meters, and half of it is craft storage. Okay, so let's be honest, there is going to be space issues. So yeah, there's always going to be that. There's always going to be that. So let me just have a look in here. The Elgato prompter has a small footprint. It does. My concern is, because it has such a small footprint, like, is the screen too small for my blindo face? Like, am I going to be able to read it? Because one of the main things, like, my husband's like, do you really need another teleprompter? Like, you know, you don't even use it as a teleprompter. But because I don't use it technically as a teleprompter, because it's too close to my face, so you guys can see me reading all the words. My eyes move, everything. It's really obvious. Teleprompters are better from a bit of a distance. But it's a skill, and I don't have the skill yet. But now it's I use it more for when I'm on a video call, when I am in an interview, things like that. So I can actually see the person I'm talking to and keep eye contact with the camera. That feels important to me, because I do this thing, and a lot of people do it, which is I look at the screen where the person's face is, and I have to consciously think to look at the camera, because it looks like I'm looking away, or looking at my screen, checking my emails or something, when it's just because my screen is not, you know, directly near the camera. So, you know, these sorts of things. John says, do you know any people who make content about cable management, because I suck so badly at it? Linus Tech Tips. Actually, do you know what? I just had something arrive. It was something that I bought, not in a sale. I got some of the Linus Tech Tips magnetic cable management. I think these might be the smalls, or they might be the mediums. I can't remember. Anyway, these are fantastic, and I've got them under my desk because this one desk, it's a motorized desk. It has 2 lights, 2 monitors, 2 computers, a sound desk, 2 microphones, a webcam, a little Dymo printer for when I'm printing my stock for my customers, you know, like powered hubs. And so I have a lot of cables, right? I have a lot of cables and they're all around this desk, and I move my feet around, so I don't like to be able to catch my feet in the cables. So when they brought these out, and the other thing is, right, and I should have bought it when I thought of it, but I also have, like, I've Velcro stickied a power board up under the edge of this part of my desk just here. And they actually have one that's for the, you know how power boards have the little holes in the back? Well, they've got these 2 little clips that you can do, but I'm just opening this up because I haven't opened it yet. But they actually, oops, hang on, I'll go to this. I actually have a separate camera angle here. There we go. Oh, so I got a new desk mat. I really needed it. Okay, so you can actually, an optional, was it optional to have to click it, or was it just part of it? I can't remember. But you can buy the, or get hold of these where you can either screw the metal plate in, because not everything's magnetic, obviously. So you can either screw the metal plate in, or they've got a really strong adhesive. So you can actually stick a metal plate so that it can connect to that. And then you've got this channel that's easily openable to be able to do for your cable management, which I just think is really important. Look, I don't think, like, I move things around all the time. I don't want my cables, you know, wrapped up and taped up in tubes and stuff like that. I need to be able to, oh, hello, buy me a coffee is on my face. I need to be able to move things around. So being able to adjust everything really easily with the simplicity of magnets. I also have some Amazon cable management baskets at the back of my desk for all the big, I've got 2 extra power supply, 2 extra power boards. So I have 3 power boards under my desk to control everything. And so I've got the power boards, and they're in the basket, as well as all the big bricks of all the power supplies. So they're all in there as well. One thing I'll say about the, about all of the LTT store stuff is I love their packaging. It's all recyclable, which I just think is special. So yeah, so being able, and they've got these in different sizes. So I just grabbed, I think it was the small one, a medium. There we go. It's written right there. I grabbed the medium arches, but they do have large ones and they do have small ones. They come in great packs. So, and they're apparently having some big sales. So I would go and check those out for certain. Let's have a look here. So I'll go back to this one. Alrighty, and I'll move that back. Do you know what? I'm just going to shove it over there. Let's have a look back here. John says, I had a DesView teleprompter. It was great, but the Elgato camera hub software is a game changer. I've never regretted purchasing the Elgato prompter. Yeah, it's everyone I've heard, as long as the biggest issue I heard was you need to use dark mode. And so people who don't like dark mode get a bit funny about it. I'm a dark mode girl, so it's not going to be an issue for me at all. Legal Minded Friends with Karen got a free one from Germany. It is long. Mine is long too. So go prompters. Livestream Consultant says most teleprompters need about 12 inches of space to make them work good. Do you mean space behind them or space in front of them? So I'm just curious about that. Enfield says, have a great stream, Chantelle. I'll watch the replay of the stream later. No problems. Have a good night. Yeah, backups. Always do the backups. And the other thing I'll say about Newer is quite a lot of their stuff, now not all of it, but quite a lot of their stuff comes in cases. The teleprompter has its own hard case, so I can tuck it away and it becomes like a little thin briefcase, so I can just slide it and hide it away. Keep both. Yeah. And now all you need is an Electro Voice RE20 microphone. No, I'm really happy Like, I'm really happy with the microphones that I have. If I want to up my microphone game, I've got my pod mic over here. It just means I've got, you know, no hand space for talking with my hands. I like to talk with my hands, people. And this is something you need to think of, like not just you live stream consultants, but everybody. When you're buying your gear, you have to think about you as an individual person. Like, having a boom arm. Now you're going to laugh when you see mine, all right? Because I've jerry-rigged some stuff on it. I was doing some things and I needed some extra lighting, so I just hooked a light. I've always got a ton of these little newer clamps with like little things around. Look, if I was hitting sales, I'd be making sure I bought like clamps and things like that. Make sure I've got a drawer full of those. But guess what? I've already got a drawer full. So like if you're a person who wants this look, hang on, I've just got to, there we go. It's been a bit since I've used this one. There we go. So I don't have it turned on. I'm still using this microphone. But you've got to allow for the fact that I now am restricted by how much arm movement I can have. Sorry, this is, even though it's not plugged in and not turned on, I'm like looking at the back of the cable, it's pulling. Sorry, it's a total squirrel moment. But now I've got less freedom and less movement. Now, if I'm doing a podcast interview, this may be the better option. And you know, I will have to just, you know, adjust things and make it so that it can not cover my face and still give me the good vocal and all that sort of stuff. Being able to have that, I'm going to have to, like, this is, where am I going to just, the buy me a coffee is just in the way. I'm just like, I'm just going to put it down here. Seriously. But you know, so this is in my way. Now, I like the sound it makes. I love that. I love being able to use the articulated arm. I actually even just love being able to use the articulated arm to drop either a webcam for a spinning video or an extra light, or I actually have my phone mount for grabbing mobile phone content. I use this, I stand this up, I raise my desk, I put my phone into it, and that's how I take my photos for my thumbnails. You know, like I have this camera right here, but I use my photo. Like, you've got to think about your use case. What are you using? Do you need the upgrade, or do you just want it? Maintaining eye confidence. No, maintaining eye contact is useful. I agree. I definitely like, and I think I said this last week as well, when people were actually looking at their own image of flip outs of cameras, like, when I'm talking with someone, I like to see that they're looking at me. So they're not looking over my shoulder. They're not checking out the giant spider behind me. Things like that, right? So, yeah, it's one of those things. Hang on a second. What have I missed here? Live stream. Oh, SMA Skies wants one of those. Okay. There we go. We may have watched the same video, possibly. SMA says a friend of mine has a few of the RE20s. Her brother, I think she was a DJ. I think her dad is involved in music, and the radio station I've been listening to has them forever. Okay. Oh, the space behind them. Yeah. And that's the problem. I don't have that space. That's extra 12 inches. So that's an extra foot or 30 centimeters in Australia. So because this room is so small, that extra foot is like a sixth or a seventh of this room, a sixth of the room. Being a 6 foot room, 1 foot is a sixth of the room, and I have to bring a whole desk out just to make that space for it. No, teleprompter's changing. Siobhan Brister is in the house. Hello, it's great to see you. Captain Crush is here as well. It's good to see you back. Let me look here. SMA Sky says audio quality is quite good as it is, to be fair. Are you talking about my audio quality? Because I'm hoping my audio quality is, because I just want it to be good, right? It doesn't have to be the best. It doesn't have to be fantastic. It doesn't have to be great. It has to be bearable, right? It has to be listenable. Now, right now I do have a fan blowing, and that's probably creating a little bit of extra noise than I'd like. But I'm going to be really honest. It's really hot here. I'm not turning the fan off. So, you know, that's a decision I've had to come to and I've had to make, and you'll have to make those same decisions yourself. Captain Home Rapper Repair says showing your hands in a frame is an engagement hack. Really? Because it's just my personality. So it's my whole personality and engagement hack. I remember having a conversation with you at Vid Summit, and I realized you were watching my hands, and I was just like, what? and it took me a little second, but then I realized you probably, like, you see this where you only see part, like my hands move around a lot, like down low as well. So yeah, so you know, I don't know, it's just how I talk. It's just how I talk. Who thought that Zach from Jerry Rig, everything's name was Jerry? I don't know what that is. Giant spider behind me. Thank you. It's probably sitting on Chantelle's audio quality. Oh yeah, my audio quality. All right, I was just double checking. There's lots of conversations happening here. Yeah, I don't know if it would add, if it was add much. I mean, I've got my pod mic, and I would probably, you know, like if I was really worried, I would dial it in. I would use the pod mic. I would dial it in harder. I would go to the effort. But this is what I'm talking about. You need to consider. I run a lot of things by the 80-20 rule. So like 80% of the effort takes 20% of the time, and that last 20% of effort will take 80% of the time. So it's, I think like the audio is not bad, right? Like I can't handle bad audio. And if I noticed on a replay that the audio is bad, I would be in here digging through, working out what the problems are, fixing it, getting a new mic, whatever I needed to do, right? But the audio is not bad. Now, I know of plenty of channels where the audio is way better, like, and there are things I could do to absolutely next level the audio for this live stream, but I just don't, for me, is it worth all of that extra effort to just bring it up like a little notch? Do you know what I mean? Like, if it was bad and it was fixing a lot, yeah, absolutely worth the effort. If we're just talking about from going from good to great, or decent to good, decent to good I would consider, but good to great, possibly not. We both talk with our hands. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Doug says, I watched a video that talked about that. They looked at MK, BHD, and Mr. Who's the Boss as examples of people who talk with their hands. So, yeah. Also, early days of Nick Nimmin, lots of hand movements. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Yeah, look, I don't see hand movement as a bad thing, because it's... Oh, you can hear the fan noise in the... Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, I can turn it off if you want. The air conditioning's kicking in now. But you know, it's one of these things where you need to decide how much of your personality are you going to tamp down for your content? Are you playing a character? Are you acting and not being you? Totally different story. But if you're being a version of yourself, you have to think about what version of yourself you want to be. So there's plenty of things that I could do that would help me to use my hands less, you know, speak differently, use a different intonation, all these sorts of things that I could change things up. But I would find that really hard while being live, while being authentic. I would come away from it feeling like a fraud, right? And so you also have to take into account your own personality and what you consider fake versus authentic. So I could go full newsreader mode and, you know, hands down and very carefully, you know, no smiling, no laughing, no jokes, turn off the emojis, make it super serious, get rid of all the chat commands, all these sorts of things. That's not the stream I want. That's not the stream I would enjoy. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you've got to think about it from a perspective of, do you want people to be able to connect with you and your content, or do you just want to deliver and leave? I mean, neither of these things are bad. You just have to decide which way you want. All right. Yeah, I definitely need to hydrate. Thank you, Doug. Do you know what? Like, home rapid repair, Larry, the first time I met one of my creator friends, it was so surreal. Just seeing them with a body, right? Like, for a start, they had a body and there was no box around them and I could see past them. It was very disconcerting and it was very funny. Also, they were a hell of a lot taller than I thought they were. Turns out everybody is a hell of a lot taller than I thought they were. So yeah, it is disconcerting because you do get used to seeing someone, like you guys get used to seeing me here with this background and with my new chair and, oh, chair update, which I'll get to in just a second. So yeah, it's definitely one of these things. John Lacey says, I'm a bit south from Chantelle and the cicadas have emerged from the ground for summer and I can't even hear myself think. Oh my gosh. I've got a bit of tinnitus. So I've always got like that high-pitched cicada noise, no matter what time of the year it is. So yeah, it's from too many years of loud noises. Hand movement and body language is an important part of communication if you use it. I think that it creates connection. But even if I found it annoying, I couldn't stop. Like, I literally would have to sit on my hands, right? I can't help it. Let's have a look here. It was just your glasses fogging up. That's so cool. Livestream Consultant says, I agree, Larry. We got to meet two of our favorite YouTube personalities and we were not disappointed. I'm glad you weren't disappointed. Who were they? Like, seriously? No. Yeah, Livestream Consultant says we have them out here in New Mexico. They can be overwhelming. Yeah. Leanne says that over on your Fiberific channel, you crochet and knit so we don't notice them. It's just right. My hands are busy. I'm making something. There's usually like that hands down shot as there's normally like yarn and a project and me knitting and my hands have got something to do. Whereas, and even when not, I'm normally holding something. So I can't move them around. But here I don't have that. I can do whatever I want. We're no AI avatars. No, we are not AI avatars. Oh, that's interesting. Strangely, Nick and Roberto were exactly as I thought, but you and Doug, I was still learning your personality. There you go. Yeah. Oh, you can hear the fan now? Okay. Or the cicadas. I don't know. What can you hear? Angelique, oh, thank you. Yeah, it's halfway through a transition. Halfway. There'll be some more exciting stuff coming in the next few weeks. Yeah, Roberto's more unfiltered in real life than he is on camera. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Nate Black was so tall. I thought Nick Niven was tall. Nate Black is so tall. Anyway, meeting creators in real life is really interesting because we do have this image in our mind that we're all at eye level with each other, because what do we do when we set up our cameras? We set them up at eye level, right? So everyone in our brain is eye level. So yeah, it's one of these things. Now, I wanted to quickly talk about the Secret Lab chair. So a few weeks ago, the Secret Lab chair arrived. A lot of you were here for the live build of the Secret Lab chair. If you did not get to see that, there is a replay available here on this channel. If you are a Fiberific viewer, you'll notice that it is gone from the Fiberific channel, because both my Fiberific community and you guys here on this live streaming community, both of you chipped into the same fund. So I thought, only fair to multi-stream it to both channels. Doesn't fit as content over on Fiberific. So I have moved that to members only over on the Fiberific channel. So yeah, and here, while we don't technically have a members only, we do have our Buy Me a Coffee channel members, which I've realized I have not played the video for a little bit. Where even is it? Oh, there it is. There it is. So these are our Buy Me a Coffee regular monthly supporters. So it is definitely going to I really appreciate every single time that one of you guys chip in, because this channel is not monetized. The only income I earn from it is from you directly. So I'll bring that back. I have a great setup. Thank you. And that's coming from me who's over 6 feet as well. I know. So, oh, Doug, I forgot to create the graphic for the watch time update. Let me just, I'll grab the watch time and I will get it right now. And I will jump in and I will tell you the hours on the watch time on this channel. There we go, and tab. We currently have, let me just look here. Can I just, I'm just having a look and seeing what there is. I just screen share it. Wrong screen. Not that. Oh man. Nope. Oh, okay. You know what? I really just needed to set it up and I didn't. So I'm just going to tell you the words. 1,788 watch hours. We have 521 subscribers. I will make sure that I go in and create it so that we can have the public watch hours flash up, just like we do the names of the music. So I will make sure that that happens for the next live stream. I'm very sorry. I totally forgot about it. Andrew Can is in the house. Andrew, your live stream today was so awesome. I was watching it while I was having my breakfast out in the lounge room, up on the TV. Thank you so much for sharing my template and using my template to build your channel art. That was so cool to see. I was kind of like a bit like, oh my gosh, somebody's using it. So I very much appreciate you doing that. And I definitely preferred the gray, the black instead of the red. I thought it looked better. But that was my personal preference. And you get to do you, just like all the rest of us. Leanne's dropped in the link for the build of the secret lab chair. Okay, so back on topic, secret lab chair. Now, the Thursday before last, I was live streaming on the Fiberific channel and a part fell off the chair. It was just a cover. Do I still have it here? Yeah, I do. Okay, so it was just this side cover that just fell off. It just, like, I've swiveled around to pick something off the floor and this was just laying on the floor, right? So it's just the case of the cover that just covers the mechanism that tilts the chair backwards and forwards. I was just like, what the heck? Anyway, the after sales service was phenomenal. I was so surprised. Okay, so what happened is I jumped on to their website. They have the little chat in the corner. I could choose between the AI chat and the real human chat. I opted for real human, expecting to have to, you know, wait. 1 minute later, I had a real human chatting with me, asking me, if, you know, if I had photos to upload them and what the issues were. And I had another problem where I wasn't able to actually get in and apply for my extended warranty, right? Because if you take a photo of your chair in your setup, you can get an extra 2 years warranty. I'm like, I'll do that. Anyway, so like from me, because this part was still attached to the side of the chair with its little screw. And it does seem weird, this whole flange is held on by this, right? Like with a little screw, it just sits in here, right? And then you just screw through from the outside, just a little tiny screw. It does seem weird that the entire weight of this is on this one, and I think it's actually a weak point. I think that this is something that they need to look at, especially considering there's plenty enough room for them to have a bigger flange, right? So I think they definitely need to look into that from a design perspective. In saying that, the guy fixed, he applied for my extended warranty straight up, no problems. It worked for him. I obviously was doing something wrong. And then he also put in a service ticket for a warranty repair, and he was really clear. Like, they're going to take a few days to get back to you. I was just like, cool, no problems. 2 days later, boom, get a message from their service repair guy. All he needed was my Secret Lab special number, which is on a tab on the back of your chair, and the delivery address. Next thing you know, boom, it's in the mail. It arrived perfectly packaged, no issues. Screw out, take the screw out, take this piece off, add it on, screw it in, fixed, and it's done. Andrew, you're a shocker. You're an absolute shocker. So yeah. Well, yeah, look, I'm okay with there only being one screw, because it's kind of like it's in the middle of a thing and it's just covered, and it's quite light, really. I mean, like, hello, yarn crafting channel, we weigh everything, right? Let's just weigh it. So it's 94 grams, like, I don't know, what's 3.3 ounces, right? So, and the screw is about that long. It's probably about an I want to say it's an M3 or an M4 screw. But it just, yeah. Anyway, I got, like, whatever made this break last time, I can't see it not breaking again. But it comes, they've got all their parts in packs. So this is the other part of the pack, which is the bit I didn't need to remove. So, but I've got it. I can keep that. I could keep it. I could get rid of it. I could, you know, like, I don't know why I'm keeping it, but I am. I'll get rid of the broken one now that I've shared it both with you and with the Fibrofit gang. So I'll get rid of the broken one. Let's have a look here. Estimates guy says that he'll be using the template when he gets around to updating it. Excellent. Yeah. Angelique says, I don't think anyone has to justify what they buy. Do you, Chantelle? I love that you are enjoying the journey. Yeah, look, I don't think anyone needs to justify anything except for as long as they're happy with it. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Doug, reminding me I need to drink. So yeah, and I'm that person that does have to justify everything to myself. Every time I spend money, I'm like, do I need it? Do I really need it? And I'm getting very good at justifying things to myself. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. But there are some excellent, that's a great point there. Hang on, just let me just find it. It's just on my website. I'll have to make a smart link for it. I will, but I haven't got one just yet. So I'll just grab the actual, there's the channel banner link there. It's very easy for you to sort of just buy things because other people have them, right? Like that whole the Shure SM7B microphones is a big example of that. It's not to say it's not a good microphone, but does it suit every person's voice? No. And this is an issue. A lot of the people testing microphones are dudes. And being a female who has different vocal patterns, and being in Australia where it's a lot harder, like everyone's like, oh, just contact the place that you want to buy it from and go and test it out. You can't, no, they don't let you do that here. You get to buy it and you know, like the only thing you can really do is get it from Amazon, try it and send it back. But does anybody else feel weird about sending stuff back to Amazon that's not broken? I don't like it. And we actually we pay a fee here in Australia. It's not return free. If it's a change of mind purchase, we have to cover the shipping. So it's not a free option here. So yeah, it's just a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird. And so finding microphones and finding things that suit you as an individual, suit your setup, suit your voice, suit your technical ability, you know, and it's just, yeah. Doug, no, I've got Prime. I still have to pay the return. If I return for anything other than it's busted, like if it's busted, I don't pay. But if it's like a change of mind, then I have to pay the return. Let's see. Oh, Eileen's here. It's great to see you. But yeah, so it's just making sure that when you are doing your good your Black Friday spending, that it's something you've seriously considered. So what I tend to do is the month or so leading up to Black Friday, I start looking at the prices of things, because especially there are some websites that eke up the prices, so that when it comes time to Black Friday sales, they're like, we reduced it by 37%, but it's only a 12% discount from the price they had a month ago. So, you know, you've got to be aware, but there are some great deals that are going to be coming. Keep an eye on your software. So if you're a TubeBuddy user, they always have a great deal. If you use, I know Black Magic Design have got a great deal. I saw Daniel Batal's put one out. Like, so if you want to pay for the paid version, you can grab a great deal on that. So just keep an eye on the things that you have been looking at over time. Don't just make a snap decision. Now, in saying that, I'm going to be really honest. I got a text message from Justin Brown at 6 o'clock in the morning going, hey, Chantelle, look at this Elgato price. I've sort of woken up because my phone binged. I've woken up, I've looked at it, seen the price, went and clicked buy, right? It was because I've been looking at it for so long, and the Elgato teleprompter went from 450 Australian down to 305 Australian, right? That was over a 30% discount. So I think it was like a 35% discount. And I was just like, you know what? Buy. And it should be that simple. It should be that simple. So you need to sort of think about, is it something that you've been wanting to do? The other thing is, if you already have some software and you've been loving it, quite often you can re-up for your next year at the new rate. So have a look and see if that's a possibility as well. So you can get your next year's subscription or whatever it is off the new rate if you upgrade now. So you might be able to, so keep an eye out for that. So things that you're already using. So if you're already using, I'm just trying to think of softwares to do it. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but lots of places will have a special software deal just for Black Friday. Now, one of the things I will say, and I am sorely disappointed by this, not just in Black Friday, but in general, the number of companies that have specials and deals only for new customers. And I think those companies that do that need to take a good, long, hard look at themselves and realize that the reason that they're still there and the reason that they currently have their teams that they have is because of the people that have supported them and have paid for their software for however many years previously. So you need to be thinking about those people as well. Now, I know Justin Brown at Primal Video, he has a channel not channel membership, he has a Primal Video Accelerator program, and he's doing something really amazing over there, which I don't see very often. So he has the Accelerator program, which you opt into. After you have been there for a year, the price is going to change and the annual price will drop, because he knows that those people are there for the community and that they're there for other things now. And so rather than keep hitting them at the same price point month after month after month after month, if you have been there for a year and you choose an annual plan, you get to have, and I can't remember off the top of my head, I should have checked, but it is a considerable price drop. I think it's something around the 40% off. Please don't quote me, but it is a considerable drop. And I think that more places need to be considering these things. Is those people that have been there year on year on year on year need to be given something, maybe not something quite so extreme and amazing as that kind of deal, but be considering that if you're a software company and you've got customers, that the only way they're going to get a special deal is by canceling their account and starting all over again. Like, that is not good customer service. So have a look at that. Let me just jump in here. Doug's saying he's only ever returned faulty stuff. Yeah, it wasn't until I had to return something that I just wasn't going to work in my situation. I realized that is what it is. You are worth it, and upgrading your studio and sharing your experience. Thank you. John says Restream has 50% off deal for annual plans. Is that just for new customers or also for returning customers? Because that's a great deal. That's a great deal. Andrew said, I was avidly against this kind of deal when I was at companies, and now they do them. Yeah, it's frustrating, because you do feel, and it's not just YouTube, it's not just technology. I know the same thing happens in Australia for telcos and healthcare insurance and all that sort of thing. Like all the new people, it's the bending spoons attitude. It's like, let's just churn through. We only care about the new customers, and that bugs me. That bugs me. Yeah. Eileen says, I returned something that went on sale the day after I purchased it, and then I ordered it at the sale price. I mean, if the sale price is good enough, it's definitely worth the effort, especially if you can get in that window where they haven't actually shipped it yet. So, yeah. The Restream deal is for new and returning customers, though weirdly, returning customers can get more live streaming destinations per plan. Huh. Nice. Is that the non-lifetime discount? I'm not quite sure what you're asking that about. Yeah, I'm not sure. Hang on. I've got to remember this is an actual normal coffee cup, and my coffee is cold now. I'm so used to drinking out of Yetis. Good job, me. Good job, me. Yeah, so keep an eye on the things that are going to be coming up. There's going to be a lot of live streams and videos and things coming out where people are going to be sharing their affiliate links to things. Choose creators that you absolutely love and trust. Use their affiliate links. For some of these creators, this is their biggest time of the year that helps them survive through the rest of the year. So yeah, you definitely need to be keeping on top of it. This is a great suggestion from Andrew. If you have merch, add that to sales. Yes. Now, I don't have any merch for us guys here. I do on my Fiberific channel, but I don't have any merch over here. But I 100% agree to this. And a lot of the merch companies will allow you to add a sale discount to your website anyway. But like you can add a sale price if you want, but most of them actually broadly have a sale. So making sure you just add your link to your merchandise into any recommendations that you are giving. People will be weaponizing FOMO. Take a deep breath and don't overreact. Okay, so this is going to be exactly like the situation with live shopping on like YouTube vertical or TikTok or anything like that. So making sure that what you buy is actually what you want and what you need. Don't just grab at things because you can, all right? Angelique's got a great question. Why do people use Restream and Ecamm? They can just use one, so what is the use case for using both? Okay, so when you're both using Ecamm and Restream, back in the day, Ecamm never used to be able to stream to multiple destinations. When the M1 Silicon came in, Ecamm was able to redevelop their software a little bit to be able to actually take on a heavier load and do some of this stuff. Right now, I am multi-streaming using Ecamm natively to both YouTube and to LinkedIn. Now, in Australia, my upload speed is dog snoozing slow, right? You guys in the US get gigabit internet. Not everybody does, I know, but lots of you do get gigabit internet, so you don't have to care about your uploads and you can do multiple streams out of Ecamm, no problems. I have to be cautious. I have to be choosy. And Australia is not the only country where this happens. And if you are in the US and in one of these locations where you do have the limitations of your upload speed, so if you've got anything under anything under about 12 megabits per second, I would not multi-stream natively in Ecamm. I just wouldn't. It's too close to the bare minimum. I would 12, maybe 7. I'm running 2 on 1080p and it wanted 10 megabits per second upload. So you've got to think about it, but you need to make the decision. If you're just doing a single stream, you don't need Restream, honestly. If you are streaming to one location, you don't need Restream. If you are streaming to 2 or more locations and you have slow internet speeds and you're using Ecamm, then you may need Restream. And so that is the use case for it. I don't use Restream. I've tried it out a long time ago and I'm sure it's changed. But I see no real advantage for me. I only want to stream to 2 locations. I did used to like to stream to Twitter as well, and my internet could push to the 3rd. But now I have to have a X premium account, which I refuse to have, to be able to stream to Twitter, to X, Twitter X, whatever it's called. I don't like X. I think it's a dumb name. Anyway, so that to me is the use case. So I hope that made sense. You need a shirt with a giant band hammer. Yeah, absolutely. Doug says less companies are giving their affiliates a heads up on Black Friday deals. Well, at least the ones I'm hooked in with. Yeah, I've noticed that this year as well. I did get a few notifications from some of my Yarny affiliates, like, hey, get ready, make yourself some, you know, extra ads and graphics and whatever it is that you want to do, because we're going to be having these sales over this amount of time. Things like that. So that's been really good. But I agree with you. I've noticed that there's a lot less information about any Black Friday sales coming out. Let's have a look here. Lots of chat about the restream. Let's have a look here. John uses Restream. So he says a chat relay bot, scheduling VODs as lives, making playlists that can be streamed live. Okay, yeah, that would be like, I don't use any of those features, but if they're features that you want, that's definitely a way to consider as well. If destinations have different requirements, you need Restream to re-encode. Ecamm just does the lowest common denominator. That's true. That is true. So if you want to be able to send the highest possible to each individual one, you'll need one of the services for that as well. Yeah, companies that used to have affiliate communities no longer communicate with their affiliates proactively. I would 100% agree with that. I am in quite a few of the affiliate communities for the different affiliates that I'm different products that I'm an affiliate for. Try and make a sentence, Chantelle. Seriously. And yes, it's crickets. There's nothing in there. So whether or not their sales are going to be less or lower or whatever it is, or whether or not they are going to, I'll take you up on that. Or whether they just want to make it surprise. Here we go. So, and Andrew has an excellent point. A lot of companies are doing layoffs, and marketing, aka affiliate marketing, is in that too, and is sadly affected by layoffs. There's a lot of companies that don't understand the importance of marketing departments. They don't understand the importance of communicating with their affiliates, with their creator counterparts. And they're the first people to go. I've always found that to be really interesting. Sales departments are usually the last one hit because they're like, oh, we need the income. Engineers get hit. Marketing departments get hit. I've worked in a lot of accounting departments. Accounting departments get hit, but the sales department is always safe. You know what I mean? Like, and quite often you would have like all these sales guys like, hey, why isn't the sales page updated on the website? It's like, because you fired the guy who does all that. So there's no one to do it. So then they have to hire someone back in, and then it's a mess. I always get like, there's got to be other ways. I mean, it's such a hard thing, but there's got to be other ways to do some of this stuff, right? Like, yeah, there's other ways to trim the fat than just running a saw through the workforce. Humans and people that work at companies are an asset. So you're basically throwing away all your assets. That's how I feel about it. Anyway, sorry about that. I feel very passionate, and it really frustrates me a lot. So I'll try and rein it in. If you want to get a video that's longer than 15 minutes onto LinkedIn, for example, you kind of have to stream it in because they have that limit. I've never tried to upload a video to LinkedIn directly. I don't think that's longer than that. Yeah, I didn't realize that was a limitation. There you go. Community building is the secret sauce and is often overlooked. Yeah. Ah, there we go. A brand tried to work with me, and when I asked to meet their marketing team, they told me they had replaced their team with AI, and I said bye. Because you cannot build rapport with AI. You can't build connections to your affiliates and to your creator specialists with AI. There needs to be human interaction, people. Oh my gosh. Like I like AI. I think there's some great things that AI can do. Replacing humans for human connectivity is not one of them. Companies jumping on with AI with proper thought. I'm thinking without proper thought, yeah. Build and fix with Mooney. Does anyone know when the new community tab will be available to all? I don't believe there is a set date yet. It's just rolling out. So I don't think Doug, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe they've given us a specific time frame on that one. I do know some people have it. So it is rolling. Well, is it rolling out or is it limited beta? Who knows? There's so many beta, limited beta, rolling out to specific, regions, or there's all these different things. And for this particular one, I don't know the answer. As far as I'm aware, there is no specific date. I think he means the community tab 2.0. Yes, it's so frustrating. Oh, let's just replace that with the word community when we have a community tab and it's not going to be that. Who knows? Like, we could be all here like bagging that out left and right. And next thing you know, they do some like wizardry and it all becomes this one amazing thing and we just didn't see the bigger picture. Or it could just be a dumpster fire, because both things happen. Both things happen. No need to be sorry. Venting is good. But do I need to vent in a live stream? That's another thing. That's another thing. A real person has to be working with their creator ambassadors and creators. I agree so much. So much. Look, Andrew, I hope it's amazing. I've got a phenomenal community over on Fiberific as part of the membership over there. And I would love to be able to see that like flourish there as well. And here as well, like, we're building a community. It's definitely something that's happening, but I don't know if it's not just a members only thing, is it? Because I get a little bit confused. There's so many new features rolling out, and some things are for you have to be monetized, and some things not. Like the vertical live streaming rubies that's coming out, and like what's this 3? What's this one? I don't know. Being able to, like, the whole. Does anybody else find it very weird that if you enable rubies on your vertical live stream that you lose your super stickers? So you gain some cents but lose dollars, because each ruby is worth is worth 1 cent. So someone has to give you 100 rubies to make up for $1. Whereas they could give you up to, I think it's a $3 super sticker. So anyway, I just think it's a little bit odd. Andrew says he wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of stickers altogether. It's not weird, it's by design. Okay. Right. Yep. Who's got the matches? Oh my gosh. Yeah, there will be gifts that you can give that cost a bunch of rubies, and probably the better and more fun gifts will cost considerably more rubies. I do understand. I never got into the stars feature on Facebook, and like, as somebody who does ask for you to go and buy me a coffee over at Buy Me a Coffee, I do ask that. So I'm not averse to creators asking for or expecting to be able to make income from this if it's something that they put a lot of time and effort into. I've got no issues with that. That doesn't bother me. what does bug me is I used Facebook stars, and I remember I gave like 500 stars to somebody and they didn't even acknowledge it because they were only acknowledging stars gifts of 1,500 or 2,000 stars and above. And you're just sort of sitting there, and I was just like, well, I'm in Australia. Do you know how like those stars work out really expensive for me? So yeah. I do agree, League of Minded Friends with Karen, being able to have the wallet and being able to use those rubies on different channels. I think that's cool. Obviously, it's only on channels that are monetized, obviously, and only on those channels that live stream vertically. So if you're watching a lot of vertical live streams, it's going to be really great for you. You're going to really enjoy it. I actually watch no vertical live streams, so at least not yet. And I had a test with it. I didn't like, you know what? You guys are amazing. The audience here on the horizontal live stream is amazing. When I streamed vertically, the quality of the comments went in the toilet. It was just trolls. Just like, not everybody, admittedly, and we had a few amazing community members join us because they found those live streams. But the majority of the comments were bad, and it was hard work on the mods. So yeah, that, and they have to moderate in 2 separate places. So it'd be really nice if you were able to multi-stream both to horizontal and vertical, and then your mods could actually see one combined chat and they could just mod that. That would be amazing. It's not going to happen. It's too hard to do, but that would be awesome. Livestream Consultant says, I think YouTube should just blaze its own trail rather than trying to keep up with TikTok. The thing is that some of these things that they're borrowing from TikTok have been wildly successful over there. So it's like, why reinvent the wheel? Let's just take their wheel. Like, I kind of get why they're doing it. I do. And I also have to remember, not everybody who watches YouTube is nearly a 50-year-old woman like me. You know, like, people watch different things. They enjoy different content. So yeah. Yeah, Doug, you're right. The percentage of channels that would multi-stream is low, and it's not worth the engineering effort that it would take. So I don't like trolls. I just block them. The second a trolls wanders in, I just block them. They don't get an opportunity to affect my community more than once. So yeah, I don't play with trolls. And you know what? I understand why some people do, and it is fun. But it's not my cup of tea. Your wheel belongeth to us. Yeah, I was gonna say trolls pay. I need better trolls. Yeah. Definitely. One thing I want to say is, you know how there's a lot of talk where a lot of people are like, shorts are rubbish, shorts are bad, shorts take away from your other content, blah 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 blah. All this sort of stuff, right? About negative stuff about shorts, right? Oh, what's the point of 3-minute shorts? Awful, hideous, all these sorts of things. It's still all in flux. It's still all changing. Like, I'm uploading some shorts to another channel, and the longer ones aren't being picked up in the feed as much as the shorter ones just yet. But we've been told that's a balancing act, and they're working that out. But one thing I want to say is on the Fiberific channel, I uploaded a few shorts. Just nothing heavy, nothing that took any considerable time to do. And I had a short for my channel. It was a great showing, 4.3K. And 11 new subscribers. And I was just a little bit like, what now? Like, because I've always been like, you know what, shorts are cool. Shorts are good little bite-sized snacks of information for people, but I don't get much traction out of them, and I don't get subs from them. And so I didn't really put that much time or effort into them. They didn't get a lot of views. I would actually usually like, I would put a similar short, usually different audio, over on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And quite often, YouTube would get maybe 50 or 60 views. TikTok would get a couple of hundred views. Instagram would get 1,500 to 2,000 views. So I would just be like, well, you know, but I'm not monetized on either of the other two platforms. It's just trying to, you know, work that out. So keep in mind and keep playing and keep adjusting. And Andrew, I know, I ran it. I've just got to go through and edit the shorts, but I've got to do some other work as well, dude. It's there. And Sundays are a write-off. I'm a zombie on Sundays. So it's Monday for me today. I'll be doing some work today. John Lacey says, the more I dabble in shorts and live, the more I think VOD is still king. Yes, I agree. I 100% agree. As somebody who runs a live streaming channel about live streaming and making live content, VOD is still king, right? What I believe is the VOD, or your uploaded videos, and your live streams do two different things, okay? And they're both good. And neither one of them is better or worse than the other, except in this one instance. VOD brings in a larger proportion of audience, right? So when you make VOD content or uploadable content, you get served in more places and for much longer, right? So it could be years and it's still being served up and served up and served up. So you can be building a great audience. So these videos will be bringing these really good new subscribers to your channel, new viewers that turn into the return viewers. And these people could come and watch your live streams and could become part of a greater community. But being able to have the larger audience means that building the live community is easier, right? So building an audience and building a community are two different things and take two different approaches. Both approaches can be done simultaneously, but they do take different approaches. VOD is the king in building audience. Live streaming is the king in building community. So you have to think about, what is it that you're trying to do? What is the goal? But to build a community, you have to have some audience, okay? You don't have to have huge audience, but you have to have some audience. So you kind of need to be doing both a little bit at the same time anyway. And you can focus more on one than the other. But yeah, you have to think about what is your end goal. Yeah, there's some interesting, Opus are doing some tweaks and some changes and some stuff. I'm finding some of them are fantastic that barely need to be edited. Others are just like, oh my gosh, can I even fix this? I don't know. Radio Jonesy on tour. Hey, how are you going? Thanks for jumping in. Speaking of YouTube naming, normal videos are short form and YouTube shorts are shorts form, not to be confused with podcasts and live stream. Oh my gosh, my brain hurts. My brain hurts. Most people wouldn't know the difference between an SM7B and a Fifine K688. They probably wouldn't. And this is the thing, like, are you upgrading your tech and your gear for the majority of your audience? Are you upgrading it for clout? Like, you have to make these decisions. Real Men Rising, great to see you in the chat. Thanks for jumping in. Are you using the Clip Anything Basic or the Premiere? I'm using... Oh, I can't remember. I'd have to have a look. I've definitely been trialing the Clip Anything because it's new, but I don't know if I've been choosing. Yeah, there've been some long pauses. I agree. And there's no button just to remove all the pauses anymore. That's gone. Or at least I can't find it. Let's have a look here. Also, what if my video is an hour? How is that short form? I know, right? I like VOD. I think VOD is more, there's more, it's covers more. It covers more. Everything that you uploaded and that's on demand and it's not live. There used to be a button. There's not now. Down the bottom, you used to have a section where you could remove filler words and remove pauses. And you could just click at the remove pauses and all the pauses that they've picked up would be gone. And it would chop it out into like the sections. Oh, Andrew says it's still there. Oh man, I need a screenshot of where to find that thing because it's doing my head in. I'm having to manually remove all the pauses. So yeah, it's very frustrating. And also the other thing I've noticed is sometimes sorry, we're talking Opus Clip here. Sometimes that someone will say something and there'll be ums and ahs and other filler words that they would normally have picked up, but they've just removed it out of the text, but the video still plays it. So you actually have to manually edit it out, which is just like, why not just use Premiere Pro? So like, I love Opus Clips and I think Opus Clips is great, but I think sometimes when companies are tweaking and changing things and trying to, you know, get things, some things that originally why people came along get removed. And that was one big feature that I really liked. I'm not sure if you noticed, but I say and are a lot. And I really appreciated just being able to click a button and they're all just gone. Now it's just like, they're not. I need some more water here. I'm getting a bit parched. Live streams are long form. VODs are short form and shorts are really short. Oh gosh. It is. It's definitely interesting, right? It's definitely interesting. Louis the dog is over here hanging out, just snoozing. He has been a Velcro dog today. Do you guys all know what a Velcro dog is? Anytime I move room, like he sleeps in our bed. Like, let's be honest, he sleeps in our bed. And last night I came into bed and when I laid down, he didn't go to his normal spot, which is a bit away from us. He literally curled around my shoulder. I'm like, what are you doing? And he just snuffled in and went to sleep. And I was like, okay, cool. He needs a bit of extra cuddle mum time, whatever. Weird, because he's not usually like that. He's normally like, I need my own space down the bottom of the bed where your feet don't reach. But today he has been, every time I move to another room, he moves as close as he possibly can. Well, like, I think if there was no bed here, he would be sleeping on my feet. But because I set him up a little bed, he's in the bed. Okay, yeah, lots of ums, and I'm very sorry about it. And I do know I do it, and I do consciously try not to do it. And I try to pause rather than but it doesn't always work because some of you already know this, I have a stutter. And so I'm already trying to control that. And so, yeah, it's just a lot of fun live streaming when you've got a brain that works differently. I don't know how best to describe that. Brain works differently. Oh, okay. They added an AI enhanced section and that's where it is now. So it's not as simple as just clicking a button that's right there. I've actually got to go digging for it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Real Men Rising, starting a new channel and doing VOD shorts and live streams is a balancing act. Yes, it is. It's an absolute balancing act, especially if it's on a new channel and you're used to a certain level of engagement from your previous channels and you either are or aren't getting that straight away and you're like, oh, what am I doing wrong? And it's, every video is classed as an individual and yeah, just, you got this. You know what you're doing. You've done this before. Oh, great question. Great question. I heard nothing about it either. Maybe it's still being judged. I don't know. Do we have a date when the Road Creators of the Year will be judged as well? Like, I voted for Sodan Tom. He was the, like, I'm going to be really frank, he was the only creator in there that I knew. So, yeah, I was like, oh man, I was really hoping Doug would be in there, but he wasn't. Live stream consultant says, wow, looks like you've got 20 people watching tonight. Do I? Let me have a look. Let's close that. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Our road is this week. Yeah, I thought it was coming up like towards the end of the year. It's really interesting. Doug says Tom was the only creator I knew. Yeah, so it wasn't just me. Okay, cool. Back to the retro review. Great to see you. How are you going? We're just, shooting the breeze, talking YouTube, talking Black Friday shopping and being cautious and not just buying because we can buy, like making good decisions around what it is we buy during the Black Friday sales, because none of us want to be ripped off and none of us want a pile of gear that we don't use. Like, look, everybody here who's watched a stream before understands that I am suspenders and belt kind of person, right? I've got backups for my lights, backups for my cameras, backups for my microphones. I have backups for power, but not as much as I want. I'd really like a nice UPS, right? That's on my list. I back up my data on 2 clouds and like 2 separate clouds, as well as hard drives. I like to have, like, if something goes down, I like to be able to just reach into my drawers or go out to my shelves and grab a thing and set it up, right? I like to be able to do that. I know not everybody does and not everybody can. And how I've created my backups library of tools is not through just spend. Whenever I buy anything, I buy 2 of them. That's not what I do. As I buy what I need and I use it, right? And then as time goes by, my needs change. As most people do, as we grow, we expect, we want to do something different. And our gear can't come with us, right? Not for that particular thing. So you upgrade to another piece of gear, but this piece of gear still works. So you've got the choice of either do you sell it, which absolutely you can, especially if you don't have any space, you sell it. Or you give it to another creator who, that would be an amazing upgrade from what they've got. So making sure that you have just made a decision. And the other thing to understand is the limitation the gear or your understanding of the gear? Have you pushed that piece of equipment to its limit, or have you been pushed to your limit? Because they're 2 different things. You may get a piece of equipment, say a camera, right? And you're like, well, this camera's not doing what I want it to do. This is so annoying. It doesn't have what I want, blah, 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 blah. But did you dig into the settings properly? Did you go and find YouTube videos, multiple tutorials? Did you go and educate yourself in every possible detail of that piece of equipment? Or are you just going to give up on it and move to something else that you could well have exactly the same problem with because you're actually not educated on it? So you have to think about these things as well. Geology Dudes made it. Excellent. My other channel is new also, but similar name. That's cool. Back to the retro review says I've got backups for my audio interfaces, my webcams, and more than enough backups for microphones. I've got backup audio interface. So when I upgraded, excuse me, to the Rodecaster Pro 2, I've kept my Rode AI 1. Now, admittedly, that's a massive step. That's a huge step, but I'll still be able to have microphone input. I'll still be able to bring my audio in. So that's what you need to do. Andrew's got a pro tip here. He uses camel.com to check the historic prices on Black Friday to see if it's a real deal. That is, I knew there was a website for it. Doug's used it for me before and I could never remember the name of it, and I did mean to ask him before the stream, but then I did not. Thank you for sharing that, Andrew, because we want you all to be making wise purchasing decisions. Money is not infinite unless you've got infinite money and then you need to throw some to me. There's a coffee link there. If you've got infinite money, you can buy me a coffee. But if you don't have infinite money, like most of us, making wise decisions when you're purchasing, okay? Andrew does this every year. That is awesome. Back to Review says, wanted to thank you for joining my live last night as well. No problems. It just happened to be on when I was in the lounge having my breakfast, and there it was. So I was like, why not? And, you know, messaging in on my phone. Livestream Consultant says, I had an Elgato Camlink Cascade fail in the middle of a live stream this morning, reached into my bag, pulled out a spare, swapped it midstream. Got to have the backups. Yeah, absolutely. And especially for you live stream consultants, this is your career. This is your job. You're charging people to run this for them. This is an expectation. You should have multiple backups. So yeah, Geology Dude says, first time on your live. I think it's weird, like, because we've been in a few of the same sort of chats and a few of the same groups around the trap. I'm surprised, and thank you very much for jumping in. Back to the retro review says the Vocaster 1 or 2 is a great budget option for an audio interface. That's awesome. That is awesome. I love to hear options. Geology Dude, really happy to see you here. Yeah. Smooth like that segue. John Lacey says, I bought a $35 Ugreen capture card and I've tested it on a Commodore 64 emulator at type, but I was impressed at how well it captured gameplay. Are you talking about, where is it? Come here, little thing. Are you talking about this guy right here? This Ugreen 60 frames per second 1080p capture card. Are you talking about this? Because I've been testing it as well, and it is great. Now, it is only 1080p. It is not 4K. You can choose USB-A or USB-C. It's fantastic. If you guys want the link, this is one of my backups. I got a Camlink 4K. I've had the same Camlink 4K since 2018. So I'm expecting it to die soon, right? Like it's been going some time. So I've been testing out some of the lesser expensive ones to have as a backup. And this has been really surprisingly good. Now I only stream in 1080p. And I normally stream in 1080p, 30 frames per second. So having one that goes at 60 frames per second is already like a little step up, right? So being able to have, yeah, Australians have no business of dreaming in 4K, right? Right. Now, in saying that, I am using Ecamm, and this camera here is plugged in with a USB. This is not a capture card. This is an old Canon 70D, and it is just USB plugged in. It is not, it doesn't have a capture card at all, right? So you may not need a capture card. Depends on the software that you're using and the cameras that you're using. So you may not need one, but if you need one, grabbing one of these is not a terrible idea, especially as a backup to throw it in your bag. So I do like cam links. I've had no problems with the cam link, but I do hear of people having problems with their cam link. My cam link, knock wood, has been going like an absolute trooper, even in studio changes and different cameras, all sorts of things. It's been great. So yeah. John Lacey says 2 cam links on the same computer don't always play nicely, so I was looking for other options. Also was bored and wanted to treat myself. And $35 is a great treat, right? It doesn't feel excessive or like it's like a good dinner. Like it's a solid dinner. It's like a pub meal, right? It's a schnitty, right? It's $35 is a schnitty with chips and salad and gravy, right? It's not a rump steak, but it's a schnitty, right? Maybe we should start measuring things in food. Livestream Consultant says the cam link that failed on me was 4 years old, probably 1,000 hours of usage on it over 4 years, so it's had a good run. Yeah. Andrew says lighting can make most cameras look a lot better. Lighting is key. You can, I've seen some people get a better look out of a webcam with good lighting than what they did by upgrading their camera to, like, they spent, let me think, they spent like $300 on great, I'm thinking Australian dollars, okay guys, sorry. 300 Australian dollars on some solid lighting. And that was a better upgrade for them than spending $1,500 on a new camera, because the camera still needed the lighting. So yeah. Andrew says, my cam link I've had since 2018 is starting to go, but I run it daily. Yeah, mine gets run quite often. So I live stream a couple of times a week, but I'm on video calls multiple times a week. Build and Fix with Moonies. Chantelle, thank you for what you do in this community. I appreciate it. Thank you, Build and Fix with Mooney. I appreciate you as well. Thanks so much. I stream via USB Canon webcam utility. Yeah, Doug streams all the time. So, because Doug uses, even in StreamYard, you use the webcam utility to use your cam link, not cam link, to use your Canon into that as well. So it's great. So, John, I have to agree that thing there where you can just choose, where you get to decide without needing to buy an additional adapter. In saying that, I do buy packs of the Anker USB-A to USB-C. If I had one handy that wasn't plugging something in that I needed, I would pull it out and show you. But on my website, it was a pick of a day for a long time. So, it's a really great little thing. I'm going to make a little list. I'm like looking at some of the little things, and these little adapters and connectors, they're not big expensive things. I'm going to make a list, and I will post a link to it on the community tab once I have made it, and you guys can go and check out my list. I'll add it to my website. But just little things, like they're not expensive, but they make life a bit easier. I've got a hub that I absolutely love. It's the OWC hub. Both Doug and Doc Rock put me onto it. It was an amazing hub. It's fantastic. Catch is USB-C only. And a lot of my things that I had that I wanted to plug into it were USB-A. So being able, and I've been plugging things into this thing with the USB-A to C connector, and it's been lossless, or at least such a minimal loss that I haven't noticed it. Lighting is key. Let me go back up here. Schnitty and chips. Does everyone know what a schnitty is? Like, I need to clarify this. Is this Australians only who understand what a schnitty is? So yeah, you do need to run your cam links on separate buses, and cam links are fussy. They don't like to work through hubs. So unless you've got like an OWC hub, sorry, that's echoing. Unless you've got like an OWC hub, which is what I've got, or one of those high quality hubs that have the full daisy chaining ability, then you need to be plugging it directly into your machine using a separate USB bus. So whether you can or can't, depending on the machine you've got, I don't know. Geology Dude says, I seem to be on various lives that Chantelle moderates, but it's nice to finally see you on your own live. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I'm here every day, not every day, every Monday, 9 a.m. Brisbane time. So it's 6 p.m. Eastern on Sunday in the US. Lighting is key. Badoom tish. Good job, Andrew. I am real. I'm a real human. Back to the retro review says all I use is a webcam. Yeah. It is definitely an option. Webcams now are not the janky things that they used to be. I have been so tempted, and I'm the princess. I have been so tempted to grab, because I'm such a Ugreen tragic. All my cables and cords that I buy are always Ugreen because I love them, right? Ugreen have a webcam, and I'm so tempted to try it, but it just feels like, because it's like 40 bucks. It's cheap, like 40 Australian dollars. So that's like 30 or 28 US dollars, right? It is cheap. And I'm like, do I want to just, like, am I just throwing money away at this stage? Or could it actually be good? Because everything else they do is good. But cables and connectors in my brain is different to like image sensors. So I don't know. I've got to try it. Oh, she'll be even realer when she does her homework. Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there. Love the food measurements. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. John's popped in a great deal on Affinity V2, which looks really good. Let me list this. Jolly Dude says, I use iPhones and thousands of LEDs with multiple lights. I use a Sony a6400 with its stock lens. I've got my Canon 70D, which has got a pancake, 24mm lens on that one. The reason I'm using that rather than the zoom is that one day I set it up on something and it fell over and the lens smashed, so I couldn't replace the lens. So I just put a different lens. Like, I couldn't afford to buy the new lens, so I just replaced it with another one in my bag. That'll do. That one will do. And then I've got a Canon M6 Mark I, so it shuts off every 30 minutes, which is really annoying, unless it's on USB-C. So yeah, there are things. Karen's going to catch the rest on the replay, crew. Good night, Karen. It was great. Thank you for dropping in. Andrew said, this is it. This is exactly it. End of the day, use what works best for you in what you can afford. Do not go into debt for this stuff. Like, that's all I can say. Do not go into debt for this stuff. I don't believe, now I could be wrong, and please tell me if you agree or if you don't agree, right? But I don't think that upgrading a camera and spending money you don't have and having to slowly pay it off for, say, a $1,500 camera, right? I don't think that that's going to be game changer enough to upgrade it from using a phone camera that you already have. I don't think it's going to increase your income enough to do that. Look at like MKBHD, who used a mobile phone for his content for years and years and still makes B-roll with a phone every now and again, right? I don't, if you've got the money to upgrade and I'm a gear nerd, right? I love gear. For me, buying the gear and playing with the gear makes me happy, right? It's part of my hobby is tinkering, right? So it's a different thing. But if you are just purchasing gear because you think you need it for your YouTube channel, make sure that you are buying it for the right reasons and that you can afford it, because you could probably at least next level your content with what you've got just by learning some extra skills. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's a schnitzel. That's right. Doug's like, it's time for a nap. Let me look. Yeah, I'm ready for a nap. Naps are good. Livestream consultant says the I don't know how to say that word, Vitade webcam is the best I've found myself. There you go. Real Men Rising has said, you made a great point on getting the most out of your equipment. I really need to get more out of my Elgato face cam. And the Elgato face cams, they've got software. Make sure you're updating the software to the most current version. And learn all the tips and tricks. Maybe just a single slider move could make something better for you. Back to the review says, if you have a webcam that has software, most times you can manually adjust the image. Absolutely. Like, there are so many things yeah, most webcams are plug and play, but if you go to that next step and go and download the accompanying software, not all webcam have that, but those that do, grab it. You'd probably be surprised at what kind of extra functionality you get out of the webcam just by downloading the software. Now, my husband I gave him my old Brio that's a little not awesome. It's got a soft spot. And he can't install the software because it's a security thing because of the company he works for. So I get that. But if you're a person who owns your own computer and doesn't have those sorts of, network limitations from your corporate overlords, download the software that goes with your stuff. John says, strategic acquisition of shiny new gear gives my life meaning in some weeks. Me too. Like, this was just like a simple thing to buy, and I was just so happy. My mouse pad, my new desk pad. I'm just like, do I need it? I mean, the other one was getting a bit grubby and it wasn't cleaning up in the washing machine, so probably. The other thing is these like this cable management stuff, game changer. I love it so much. So sometimes there's little things that can just, they make me happy. So that's the difference. If you're not that person, if you're not a person who cares about this stuff and you don't need it for your YouTube thing, then don't get it. Spend your money on something else. Back to the retro review says, what is your favorite piece of gear that you use? That's a really tough one because I got gear I use all the time versus my favorite. I would have to say that the things that give me the most joy is good lighting, right? And I love playing with the lighting. I love making it like have different colors. Like I actually forgot to change them, but to like, where's my phone? I need to fix that. Because like for this set, I like to have the orange lights. For my fiberific set, I like to have the pink lights, and it just helps to make things like a bit more clear for me. So I've got my background lights and I just need to change them. It's just taking a second to connect. Thanks for taking forever to connect. Thank you. Change them. There we go. Back to over to orange. And I love to be able to just adjust things. So things that I can control, right? So like, and I think my biggest game changer was when I upgraded my home Wi-Fi to Google Mesh, right? Now we had so many issues with the Wi-Fi here. It wasn't funny. And it was driving us insane. And at that time, my studio was in a donga in the front yard, and I was quite literally running a 15 meters, what's that, 15 by 3, 60 foot 45 foot cable from the router across my entry area, through my living room, out a sliding door, across the lawn, up in a window, and connecting it into the back of my computer. And I was having to do that every single time I needed internet, unless I hotspotted from my phone. And then my phone would have to sit on the window ledge. Excuse me, it would have to sit on the window ledge because this donga is made out of metal and it was blocking. Anyway, it was an issue. Our home internet was playing up as well. And so I was like, right, look, let's just get this Wi-Fi mesh that'll solve the home internet problem, but let's get the extra node and I'll stick it in the front window of the house and see if I can push it into my shed, right? It got to the point where I realized I could just put the node in my shed and I was getting like the full high-speed internet that we were getting in the house. And so for me, having something so simple as everywhere in we have a smallish house. Everywhere in our house, we get the same quality of internet. There's no spots where we're like, oh, I can't get a signal here. No, our whole house is covered in Wi-Fi, 2.4 and 5 gig all swirling around. Like, you know, it's probably not healthy. I don't know, but it's fantastic when you're an internet nerd and when you want to connect in the lounge as well as at your desk, as well as while you're laying in bed, and you know, all these sorts of things. And so I honestly think my favorite piece of technology is my Google Mesh. Is that sad? Is that sad? Oh, I'm gonna keep going here. The new iPhones and the newer Android phone cameras are amazing. You can barely tell it's not a mirrorless. Absolutely. Good lighting and a phone, you can make a video. And you don't even need a big light. Like one of these little newer, like I think this is flat, but one of these little newer lights was like, I think I got a 2-pack for like $50 or $60. Yeah. Andrew says, I love camera gear and equipment, but they all just service the story we're trying to tell. Don't be fooled. Gear is fun, but it's not everything. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're watching on the Xbox and chatting on your iPhone. That's awesome. Andrew says, I say that with thousands of gear all around me. Yeah. I'm like looking around and I'm like, I've got some gear here, like camera, light, mic, camera. audio interface, monitor, like Mac Mini, Windows computer, like, yeah. Does it spark joy? I mean, and this seems so simple, right? It seems so simple, but is the piece of technology making you pull your hair out because it's just not doing what you need it to do? Go and watch a video, reinstall it, reset it up. Is it still got these faults and issues, or is it just never going to do what you want it to do because you're expecting too much from it? I had a laptop that I was just expecting way too much from. Like, let's be honest, it was an i5 Surface Pro 4, and I had it live streaming with multiple cameras and a microphone input, and it did it, and then it died, and it died a hard death. It was a loud, hard death. Back to the retro review says, I love a good microphone, but my favorite piece of gear that I use is actually a low profile mic boom arm. I love the idea of the low profile boom arms, but I talk with my hands and I can just see me just whacking that thing so many times. Yeah, it's definitely that. Livestream Consultants has, now that sounds like something I would with the internet. Oh, look, it was a game changer. It was an absolute game changer. Leanne says, and you're great with your lighting. You have great depth in that small area, live space. Nobody would know. Yeah, like we've had this discussion over on the Fiberific channel. People assumed my space was actually like bigger than it is, but like it's like I'm opening the drawers. Like it is so close. And I also have very short arms. So yeah, Duck says I'm all geared up as well. Yeah. Andrew Can says, meanwhile, when I use the free or freemium tools, I get told you don't really use this. Like, seriously, there is so much good free stuff out there. There's so much good free stuff. Like, if you want to be a YouTuber, right, and so you've got to have internet, you need to be able to take a video, so use your phone if you've got a phone. I would say my first upgrade choice is always a microphone. People can deal with poor lighting. People can deal with the glitchy video. People cannot deal with bad audio, like crackling and wind blowing and, you know, get yourself a microphone, right? And you don't even have to spend hundreds on that. You can pick up a Boya BYM1 lav mic, $15, boom, done, excellent, done. In saying that, one thing I do have on my wish list, which I'm so not buying right now because I just bought an Elgato teleprompter, is I really do want a Rode wireless. Like I know on this channel, we've pulled out my Rode transmitters, like the full-on Rode links, and connected them up through the Rodecaster Pro 2 with the cable, and it works a treat. It does. But they're chunky and I want something little that I can connect the same way. So yeah, there's no reason. Like I'm in this space, I can stand over here and you can hear me on this microphone, but I still want it. That is getting a microphone is what you need first. So I would say audio, then lighting, then consider upgrading your camera if that's what you need to do. But free stuff that you can get your hands on. OBS for live streaming, OBS for screen recording. You can do all of these great things using OBS, totally free. Edit with DaVinci Resolve. You can totally get the free version. You don't need to download the I'm a Movie Cinema version of DaVinci Resolve. Free. So that's free live streaming, free video editing. Create and mix music, free. If you want really fantastic, fun music in the background of your videos, there's no issues, totally free. Get your hands on it. There is no reason that you are forced to go and spend money on all this stuff. There is so many quality free tools out there that you don't have to spend money on. So like if you want to be a gear junkie, be a gear junkie, but understand that that's what it is. It's not, I have to have this for my creator career. No, you have to have it because you want to have it. It's an ego thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. Understand that's what it is and then make decisions based off that. So Andrew says 22 watching, 10 likes. Well, it looks like people jumped out when you asked for that because now there's only 19 watching that. So I'm not going to like this. Leave. Russell, so good to see you, mate. You know you set up with tech when your next priority was a fancy chair. Absolutely. I needed the chair so badly. My back is so much better from getting a chair that actually supports my body. Shocking. Totally shocked. Jolly Dude says I start my iPhone with a crank. I love that. I love it. John says that OBS is free for this Black Friday, but as always, yeah, it's always free. And, oh yeah, this is a great one. Bad audio with an accent and sharing bad advice. That's an engagement killer. Oh my gosh. Are you saying that that's what I'm doing? Bad audio with an accent. Like, I'm just, hang on a second. Wait. SMA Sky says, yeah, I'd like the Rode Wireless 2, the one with 2 transmitters. Like, I would like to think, right, that I would love one with 2 microphone inputs, right? Not necessarily 2 transmitters. Wait a second. I just need to think. The bit that you connect to your computer or to your audio interface, I thought that was the transmitter. No, that's something else. Anyway, I want the 2 microphones, 2 signals into the one thing. You know, I don't know. Anyway, I'd love that. I'd love to think that I would use both and I would do interviews with people. Here, put your microphone on. I would love to. I'm never going to do that. But if I interview people, they're using their own microphones because I'm doing it virtually because I don't go near real humans, you know. So, yeah. So, yeah. Transmitter and receiver. Thank you. Sorry. Yes. 2 transmitters, 1 receiver. Thank you. Sorry. You're right, SMA Sky. Andrew says his order of purchasing is mics, lights, camera, and action. Yeah. And we have more free and usable tools than ever. Yes, we do. Boya has a small wireless one as well. I have to check that one out. I've seen it, but I haven't used it. So I don't know. Livestream Consultant says the Rode Wireless are amazing. I run 2 that are 4 years old and have had hundreds of hours on them. Wore out 2 of the Boya Lav mics on them so far. Because that's the other thing to remember, right? Like, I see a lot of people clipping the little square on with the little dead cat attached to it. And I sort of just, I cringe. I cringe because do you know what you can do? You can get that little square, you can shove a lav mic in it, throw it in your pocket, and then clip a lav mic to yourself. And you're still technically wireless. So why are we holding it or clipping the whole thing? Like, unless it's like a speedy fast moment thing and that's what you've got, that's fine. But if it's a regular setup thing, you don't need to have the big Rode branding square unless you, I mean, seriously, no judgment. If you are sponsored by Rode, go hard. So yeah. Sir Booksage says, I recently picked up the Godox wireless mic to play around with. I knew Godox did lights. I didn't know they did mics. Oh, I definitely have to have a look. John says, I bought the Shure SM7B out of FOMO, but it was also a good option for me because I live in the suburbs and it doesn't capture people mowing their lawns. Look, I used to use this mic all the time when I was out in my separate studio. And when I first moved into this room, I was really sensitive of all the additional noises because I'm just in a room in my house. My daughter's bedroom is there. The family bathroom is there, you know, and then the kitchen is one more room over. And so I was really sensitive of all this additional noise that was coming in. So I bought the pod mic to help with that. And then I realized how much I talk with my hands and that while I love the pod mic and I love the noise cancellation around it, I think it's fantastic. I do use this one more often because I've realized I need the space more than I need the better audio. Oh, Doug's saying absolutely not. Like, so, okay, so I'm not dodgy. Cool. Thanks, Doug. I appreciate that. Doug Houston, what about decent audio, minimum accent, and puns? Asking for a friend. Oh my gosh. I've heard from the Boya owners because of this issue, they run down faster. So the Boya wireless mics run down faster. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Whenever you run, it's important to have it so you are set up and ready to go in under 5 minutes. Look, you know what, Russell, I needed this. And I know not everybody can have it, but I need, for my own brain and preparation, as being someone who had to build a set, record a video, check the video, demolish the set, then go and do school runs and stuff, because the set was in the middle of the living room of my home. Couldn't leave it there. Then go and do school run, pick my daughter up, and then, you know, family stuff. And then after dinner, edit video for half of the night. I realized that I needed a space that I could just walk into. And now I walk into, even from another room, because Googs is God in my house. Well, he's not God, but you know what I mean. Googs is supreme here. And just being able to come in and just ask the G machine to turn on all my lights, and all the lights come on. And all I've got to do is flick on the camera. And so within a couple of minutes, I've got audio, I've got camera, I've got all my lighting all set up and ready to go. And all I have to do is choose which software I'm going to be going with. Whether it's Ecamm, whether it's OBS, whether it's vMix, whatever it is that I'm doing, whether I'm jumping in on someone else's interview and they've sent me a link, whatever, everything is ready to go. And I definitely found that I needed that for me. I know not everybody is the same. Doug says, as a gearhead, I'm always drooling over Rode's latest and greatest. I'm a gearhead obsessed with Rode, but I have a Boya budget. Like, I have to really, really need the upgrade, really. Like, yeah. And so I wait for the big sales. So I managed to save hundreds off my Rodecaster Pro 2. Even though I'd been wanting one since before there was a Pro 2. So it just happened to be that everything lined up in time for the Pro 2 release. So, yeah. So, Doug says he's bumped the pod mic a few times. Yeah. Leanne's off. See you later, Leanne. Oh, I've had friends who've had their Boyas going after 1 or 2 years, but they were heavy users of their gear. Yeah, look, and this is the thing. You get what you pay for, right? You get what you pay for. Sometimes buying the budget thing up front saves you money up front, and while it could still be solid, it may die faster. And this is one of the things I do love about the Rode gear is their warranties and things like that. You just have to make the decisions for yourself. Like, and like I use the my brain won't give me the word, Boya wireless, Boya wired 15 meter mics or whatever they are. They're great. They're really solid. But when there's money to spend, I upgrade to the better quality of Rode. So it depends on what you want, but you don't have to buy the expensive. Yeah, Andrew says, born to be Rode, budget of Amazon Basics. Yeah. The Boya budget indeed. Russell says there was a point there with shiny object syndrome became a distraction from making content. And you know what? That is true for a lot of people. They think they have to wait until they've got all the gear before they can start. They have to have the perfect setup before they can start. And that's just a cop-out. You don't need that. You don't need the perfect gear. You don't need the perfect setup because you're just starting. Your audience understands you're just starting. They know that you're new. They can tell by looking at your channel. You're new. You don't have to have the supreme setup. You need to have decent audio and decent video. You don't need to have top of the line everything. And you can get decent audio and decent video with a phone and a $15 mic. So yeah, I think there's a lot of people who really do feel that they can't do it without the gear, and for them that is a crutch, like they need to be propped up by it. And it's not to say that having the gear isn't fun. It is fun if you like gear, but for some people they wait until they can afford the gear, right? So there's this whole process of procrastination. They wait, they're not going to make content till they can get the best gear. They save up, they get their best gear, right? Or they go into debt, which is worse. They get the best gear, but then they have to learn how to use that gear, because the good gear has got a learning curve on it. It's hard to use. I am still learning all my gear. I'm still learning the ins and outs of everything. And when there's a firmware upgrade and I've got to relearn everything again, you have to be prepared. It's not just a set and forget situation. You have to be prepared to go in and adjust things and fix them up. So you have to keep learning. Andrew says, I'm still learning. It's something I live by. Oh, look, and this is one of the things I say over on the yarn crafting channel when people are like, oh, I've been knitting for 60 years. There's nothing new in knitting. And it's just like, really? Okay, so how many knitting techniques have you learned? And they're like, oh, I do this. And it's like, yeah, but how many others can you do? And they're like, no, I just do this. It's like, okay, so you could be learning more. You just decided not to. So you've got to make the decision. Do you want to learn? Do you want to develop your skills? Or do you want to sit in this little stagnant thing and going, this is the thing I can do. It's not what I want, but it's the only thing I can do. But I'm also not willing to open up and learn the other things. When you stop learning, you will die. That's how I go in my brain. When you stop learning things, you'll die. And because I am this person, like, that is constantly like grabbing onto like a new craft or something and need to learn how to do this and buy all the things, and then I learned a long time ago that I don't need to just keep doing, you know, finding a new hobby, and then bringing all those things in I need for each and every new hobby. I realized that I could find a hobby, realize I love it. So like knitting and crochet, right? Love those. They're so much fun. But when I get a bit stale and I think, oh, I need a new hobby, no, I just go and learn a new technique. I go and learn a new style of knitting or a different type of crochet. It's the same with YouTube and live streaming, right? If you get stale and you need a new invigoration for your own self, you don't need to go and start a new channel. You don't need to go and have a different niche. She says, with 2 channels in totally different niches. Sometimes learning something new to share with your existing audience is what you need to do. So you can change things up. Russell says, balance your budget between hardware, software, and the most important thing of education. I think there's so many people out there spending so much money on hardware and software, they're forgetting they need the education as well. It definitely needs the balance. Jermaine, great to see you here. I'm starting to use EV Mux. It's confusing. I'm still learning. Any advice about EV Mux? EV Mux is a bit different. What were you using beforehand is a great question. So if you could answer. Oh, Louis, are you all right there too? Yeah, so what were you using before? But yes, it is new and it is different. So I would say keep testing things. You don't have to be live to test it out. You can, or at least publicly live, you can be live in a private live stream and be testing things out, and to get all your all your stuff happy. Okay, so it's a pretty big jump from Restream to EV Mux. Understanding things are going to be in a different place. EV Mux offers a lot, and depending on the plan that you're on, you'll have a lot to play with. But maybe start by setting up a basic stream setup first, like a basic scene that you want, whether or not you're doing gameplay. So you want the 2 things, like the game plus your face. Set up your basics first, get solid and comfortable in them, and then go and play more in the heavier duty, into the deep diving. Good night, Real Moon Rising. Thanks for jumping in. Oh yeah, Livestream Consultant says, just take your time and figure out one piece at a time. And that's the thing, because quite often we think, oh, I know how to live stream. I've live streamed on this other software for years. I'm cool, I've got it. But when you jump to a different software, everything's in a different place. So you just have to be prepared to give yourself that same learning curve and give yourself some grace, like you're using a new software. It's totally different. So, Andrew says they're starting to round the banners on mobile. Who and what now? Who's rounding banners? I need to look at this. I don't know what you're talking about. I need to look at it. Rounding. Are you talking about the channel art, how it's being rounded on mobiles? And I don't know. I'll have to have a look because we've done lots of talking. In saying that, we've been, oh, YouTube banners are rounded on my, oh, do I need to, I'll go and have a look at that after the stream, but I will check it out. I may have to adjust my, my template again. Anyway, guys and girls, thank you so much for coming and hanging out today. If you do decide that you did enjoy this and you do have infinite money like some people seem to, you can go and drop me a coffee here. I always need coffee. Coffee is life. And I will be here next week. So if you've got more questions, and you know, also don't forget you can just jump in, and I'm on all the socials. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Twitter, X, Instagram. You can find me on all those places, so you can send me messages or reply to things over there as well. So great to see you all. Thank you all so much for coming in, and I hope you have a fantastic week. And just be, you know, mindful in your Black Friday shopping. I'm not saying don't do it. I did some. I'm going to do some more. But be mindful about what you're doing. Have an awesome one, and I'll see you next time. Bye now. I clicked the button. It took a while.